Hi, thanks for checking out the video. I'm Rowan. I'm going to be talking about Chewbacca in today's toy reflection. And Chewbacca has a important meaning to me in my personal life. Um, we will be unboxing this black series Hasbro Chewbacca figure from 2015. But first, a little story. This is kind of hard to recognize as the Return of the Jedi Chewbacca action figure, original from 1983. And I say it's kind of hard to recognize because you'll notice that so many of these details are rubbed right down to the plastic. There's no paint left at all. These are some very floppy limbs. And the reason for this is because when I was 5 and Return of the Jedi had come out, so I was obsessed for basically a good solid year with Star Wars and Star Wars action figures, etc. I had all these action figures, and you know, thanks to my parents and my mom, uh, I guess I just wanted to give her something to thank her with, and I was just little, so I was like, "What's your favorite Star Wars character?" And whichever one she said, I would sacrifice and give her. And she said she liked Chewbacca. And so, why is this all worn out? Well, she put this in her purse, and she kept this in her purse for over 30 years. No, I don't know how many purses she had over that amount of time, but whatever she would transfer, Chewbacca would always go in there and end up at the bottom and just rubbed right down to the plastic because of all the various things in her purse. And she died a few years ago, and I didn't ask for anything except for this because I knew it would still be in her purse, and it was. I keep it on my ancestor altar now. It's not a toy display. If you're curious, if you're not pagan, if you're curious what an ancestor altar is, there are lots of traditions that do it. If you've seen Pixar's Coco, it's very similar. So I keep this there to remember my mom, and has a lot of her good energy in it. She kept it with her every day. But while she was sick, she died a few years ago of cancer. And while she was sick, I attended a Comic Con. Yeah, just lie down. Just lie down. You're tired. You're tired. You don't stand up anymore. So, just when I went to a Comic Con, I guess about 4 years ago, I was just kind of looking around, you know, at all the vendors, and I saw this Black Series Star Wars. Now, I am not really, I'll admit, I'm not like a giant Star Wars fan. I like them. I like the movies. I definitely have an attachment to the original trilogy from my childhood. But it's not a thing I'm a huge fan of that I would go out of my way to buy merch for. But um, we saw this, and I knew my mom was kind of sick in bed all the time. So I thought, oh, well, here's a little souvenir. I'll surprise her. And gave her this. It's like, here you go. Remember the Chewbacca? Here's a replacement. Like, haha. And she kept it in her bedside um, counter, her little dresser area, uh, in a little drawer, and untouched. So I'm going to touch it. I took it back. I'm going to display this one very proudly with my collection, and we're going to unbox it together and take a look at it in memory of my mom, who, let's face it, definitely encouraged all of my geeky, imaginative, creative impulses for whatever reasons. So I would not be who I am today, is certainly in terms of what I like, if it wasn't for that encouragement. So let's take a look at Chewbacca. So, looking at at a few details just from the box, we can see that this is a great, all these Black Series have an amazing display. Like, you know exactly what you're getting. Good quality, in my opinion. I've seen them. This is the only one I have. There are some other Black Series Star Wars items available in my eBay store, Ancient Chieftain. But not this. This one's mine. It's the Chewbacca. You can see each one of these Black Series has a little code. And of course, he's a legendary Wookiee warrior and Han Solo's co-pilot aboard the Millennium Falcon. Chewbacca was a part of a core group of rebels who restored freedom to the galaxy. Chewbacca has done it all. Chewbacca has been around, okay? So getting him out of the box is a very simple matter. He's not tied into this plastic or anything, just comes right out. You have his little rifle things with the sling on it. And the little, this one is taped on because it's very tiny. And the little end of it, you know, that Han Solo uses in Force Awakens for the first time for some reason. And of course, we can just take Chewbacca right out of the plastic. And we can take a look at him. Now, obviously, if we compare him, it's not a fair comparison because my version of the vintage Chewbacca is just it looks like Grimace. It doesn't. You can't compare it, so I can't do a fair quality comparison. So I'll just look at it on its own. Look, it's beautiful. These little yellow kind of highlights, just to kind of accent that this is kind of some grungy fur. He's got some kind of, I don't know what's going on with his hand. I guess it's just fur. Oh, there we go. Position it right. Because if you look at it like this, it looks like his hand's on fire. That's not right. I mean, it's cool that he's articulated, but that looks silly. But then you just align it with the rest of the fur. That looks normal. Looks normal. Great silver on his little sling thing, whatever this is. Look at this. It looks really worn. It's like a PVC plastic type thing. Let's see. I'm sure he's very articulated. This obviously can't move that much because he's got this like fur, but these arms do a great job. Again, I think this looks dumb, but otherwise, just align everything up and it looks cool. You can kind of do all these waist and ab moves. And I mean, this is obviously much more articulated than even a top quality vintage. You know, forget about my worn down copy. But look, I mean, he really looks like he came from Kashyyyk, you know, the swamps. And this looks really, really cool. Now, I assumed that this would somehow attach here. I mean, I guess it's supposed to, right? But if someone knows how, leave a comment. But for now, let's just leave the little end bit and give Chewy his weapon somehow. See, one of the reasons that Star Wars in general bugs me is that all of these things are just so over designed. They're not meant to be real tech. They're meant to look crazy. And so they don't always fit in the most logical ways. Okay, I'm just giving up on the accessories. I'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. But it's really a cool looking figure in my opinion. I think the face sells it, in my opinion. He looks alive. And again, let's look at him next to the original, which I'll have to hold up. Well, not the original, but the Return of the Jedi original. And you know, for something that was in a purse for 30 years, it's held up better than it could have. But in terms of, obviously, movie realism, the figures have come a long way, and I will leave Chewy on my toy display and collectibles display area. And he will have an honored place. So, thank you for watching. And Chewbacca says, in his language, however you do it, he says goodbye.